Yesterday, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is the corridor transformation. Of course, money worries. Money worries as far as the government is concerned, as far as the families are concerned, as far as the individuals are concerned, as far as the communities are concerned. Money worries. Yes, indeed. Of course, and we are going to discuss that in let's say, in some fine-tuned detail. Yes, because it's important that we look at that, because the budget is coming up, and therefore, of course, we have to be able to treat with what is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago. Last night, of course, we looked at the concept of the economy and the definition thereof. And of course, in that context, we define what a budget is, which is the projection of some kind of economic activity, but of course, futuristically. But that being as it may, of course, let me say, of course, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell an enemy, tell a PNM sycophants, tell a PNM, of course, converted to, of course, reality in Trinidad and Tobago, which of course is the UNC and the coalition of interest. Tell everyone, and of course don't forget to get us on right now on as we are beaming from Port of Spain, right here on George Street. Of course, you log on to what? Yes, to Corridor Transformation on YouTube. Corridor Transformation on YouTube. Of course, on Facebook, slightly different. You have to log on to what? Alfred John. And then, of course, we will be in your presence. You will be in our presence by way of your calls. And then, of course, everything will now be honky-dory. My apology for not putting the additional number on the screen to treat with, of course, our back-to-school book drive. Yes, indeed. That's the annual event that we will not. And, of course, look forward to a number of other things. There will be a lot of groups, civil society institutions that will be advertising what they are offering on the corridor transformation. Yes, we will be providing that service. Just as how we are providing, of course, free internet service for the community, for the immediate community surrounding our facility, free of charge. It's a cost, of course. It's free to them, but a cost to us. But of course, we realize that some of the young fellas, they have, of course, virtual court, for example. And of course, there are a lot of young people who are ambitious, meaning that they are doing well in school and could do well in school, save, of course, that they have no connectivity, even though they may have a device. Of course, later down the road, we will talk about, of course, our computer for every home initiative. Quite apart from that which the government will be rolling out in the new term, incidentally, that will, of course, be a little take a little longer because I think they have added on another week to before school resumes. But that does not take away the price of coffee, so to speak. What we will do what we have to do, and of course, a computer in every home, I think, is important. And as we have always said, that if the child goes to school with a computer, with the computer that the home has, it means therefore mommy and daddy, or what I consider to be the homemaker, may not be able, or there may be, of course, smaller children that are not going to school, that may need, of course, to catch up on their educational cartoons and so on, ABC and all of that. In my days, of course, there was the Sesame Street, but I know that these days they have all kinds of different nursery rhymes to, of course, capture the attention of the young people, and then, of course, treat with that in a particular way. Yes, indeed. Yes, so we need to make certain that these issues are dealt with fervently, solidly, and with a high degree, of course, of precision and thought. But let's get back, of course, to the background music, and then, of course, we will begin in earnest our program. Yes, indeed. Money worries. Welcome to the corridor transformation.
I'm on trouble. Oh, yo, 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 yo. I'm on
Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked came against me to eat up my flesh, my enemies and foes, they stumbled and fell. Though an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war may rise against me, in this I will be confident. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that will I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret place of his tabernacle he shall hide me. He shall set me high upon a rock. And now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me. Therefore I will offer sacrifices of joy in his tabernacle. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to the Lord.
Lennox Smith, political leader of Love, one of the Coalition of Interest partners in the present. UNC Coalition of Interest government, led by Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar, has given the approaching 100 days of the government a giant passing grade on performance, integrity, good governance, transparency, accountability, and keeping true to its manifesto promises.
Yes, indeed. Of course, I thought I should introduce tonight's program with, of course, my own assessment as to the performance of the Kamla Persad. Let me make sure that the mic is on. I don't want to, of course, lose anything. Let me make sure. Yes, the mic is on. Yes. So the Kamla Persad Bissessar administration, of course, coupled with the UNC and the coalition of interest, of which, of course, my own party, Love, is a member of that coalition of interests. And I think that by and large, and that is not today, but it has become, of course, staple reality. It has become idiosyncratic. It has become the normative behavior for the UNC and its leader, whether it be Pandey, whether it be Kamla Persad Bissessar, to deliver in very difficult circumstance and with very little, comparatively speaking. So let us not waste time. So I have no difficulty. I even put a number to it. I didn't say 10%, 20%. I even say on a scale of 1 to 10, I say a gigantic pass rate for the Kamla Persad Bissessar, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, led UNC and coalition of interests. We are nearing, if not already achieved, 100 days. And listen to my conclusion as the political leader of Love and part of the coalition.
Lennox Smith, political leader of Love, one of the Coalition of Interest partners in the present. UNC Coalition of Interest government, led by Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar, has given the approaching 100 days of the government a giant passing grade on performance, integrity, good governance, transparency, accountability, and keeping true to its manifesto promises.
But of course, people, we also have, depending,
Lennox
of course,
Smith, political
let's hear it
leader
again,
of
let's hear it
love,
again.
one of the coalition of interest partners in the present UNC Coalition of Interest government, led by Prime Minister Kamla Persad Bissessar, has given the approaching 100 days of the government a giant passing grade on performance, integrity, good governance, transparency, accountability, and keeping true to its manifesto promises.
Yes, indeed. And I don't think I will be in any way is seen as not being, one, pragmatic, two, will not be seen as a misrepresentation of the realities, and most importantly, that while it is only about 3 months since the 29th of April, the present administration has delivered a level of comfort, a level of satisfaction, a level of appeasement, a level of neutralizing those naysayers and political opportunists that, of course, don't want to accept the reality that Trinidad and Tobago is in a much better place than if the PNM would have been in office, having regard to their poor performance prior to the 28th of April. Let us not waste time. Because if the PNM was there, apart from the hardship and the unrelenting murders, and of course the fact that they have to, of course, initiate a second SOE since in their 9 years in office, tells a story. We're going to focus there a little later. But the point I am making is that property tax in your tail, the revenue authority in your tail, more people going out of work apart from those from Petrotrin directly and indirectly. It's over 65,000 people directly and indirectly was affected by the closure of Petrotrin, for reasons that are yet to be properly told to us by way of confession by the past operatives of the PNM. But we have a fair idea that the entire cabinet conspired to close down a commanding height on the mainstay of our economy, to make, of course, and to contribute to foreign exchange. And therefore, it has, because of its closure, it has what? It has contributed, of course, to the sparsity or to the scarcity of foreign exchange. And don't tell me you don't know that it was Imbert who said that when the oil refinery was operating, when it was operating, it was a net earner of foreign exchange. Don't get me vexed before I play it tonight, I ain't taking no nonsense from anybody tonight. Because anytime you cannot see what the reality is, as we have been saying prior to the 28th of April, it means therefore you are on mischief, and we must of course disabuse, and we must call you out for who you are, because of course you are pursuing an agenda that is inimical to the interests of Trinidad and Tobago. You big bunches of devils. Big bunches of devils. That's what you are. Unpatriotic. And of course, Rowley and they will be the first to talk about who is unpatriotic, etc. They are the ones that have been unpatriotic. And of course, I have no qualms in, of course, regurgitating and, of course, supporting the current Attorney General, John Jeremy, in saying that those who would have been engaged in iniquities against the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you in the front bench of the opposition, with a few exceptions, you will be made to pay criminally and civilly. I put in that part of it. He didn't say that, but I put in that part of it because it's obvious. He is the Attorney General, and therefore, if the Attorney General say that he will fight, because his definition for you is that he is opposed to corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and the abuse of office. That is what he said recently. When he had, of course, to dress down and to humiliate Scotland, a fella from right round the road, a man who talked about what? He would ride to school and ride to work. Sorry, I thought he was still in school from time to time when he come, with the nursery rhyme where Turley and Twisty go to school on a bike. When, of course, he seemed to be the fella. He have a face like that anyway, like a blasted screw. But nonetheless, he talked about, of course, breadfruit and cold pot. That is what this nincompoop spoke of. And then he comes into Parliament and tried to, of course, generate the charlatan, or should I say, emphasize or deepen the charlatan that we know him to be. Charlatan, a quack, talking about a legal quack. He doesn't know that the matter that was being debated at the time was an order and not a bill. And he tried to bamboozle, of course, the Speaker of the House, but of course he was very, very abreast. So he said, shut your damn mouth and sit down. I mean, those are my words. I know that he would say it with a sort of quiet decorum, befitting, of course, the House. I don't have that elasticity or that flexibility. I say it as it is. Sit down, you damn fool. That is what he was saying to Scotland. The fella who is around here and calling me, of course, what? An interloper. An intruder, an interloper. Just imagine that. This nincompoop, he doesn't live wrong here. He doesn't know anyone wrong here. At least prior to, of course, riding into the area on a P&M chariot. That's all. Because who around here will come up with the idea of a bike and a cold pot and breadfruit? Only he is obviously not from around here. And just like Rowley and they, when of course they wanted to break down the people's houses around here, here's a Smith, no relative of mine, but there's a Smith. I suppose Smiths are very passionate people and very dedicated to the human cause, and of course a deep sense of injustice, because it was, of course, as you know, I think it was Martin Luther King, and I think it was also regurgitated, I don't know which one first, but the fact of the matter is that one of the Kennedys, when they said, and that is a poignant lesson that must be indelibly implanted in our respective minds. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Let me repeat. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That is what these very famous and iconic individuals, civil rights movement, and of course leadership as far as the American experience is concerned, the man who, of course, who superintended the landing of Americans on the moon. That is what we are talking about. And therefore, decades later, we are saying the same thing in East Port of Spain. We are saying the same thing in Laventille. We are saying the same thing in Beetham. We are saying the same thing for Silots. We are saying the same thing for Belmont. We are saying the same thing for Chumakak. We are saying the same thing for Mova and environs. We can make it if we try. And so, when I speak of course, the only percussion instrument invented in the 20th century, the steel pan, I am therefore referring to the creativity and the ingenuity and the ability, of course, for the people of these communities to rise out of the morass and the quagmire that they have found themselves because, of course, you have an exploitative group of individuals nestled in a party called the PNM that, of course, have taken us to doom, to doom, to doom. And therefore, we must understand our role and responsibility. Let me at this point say, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry once again, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. This is, yes, the Corridor Transformation, your host, Lennox Smith. Of course, share to our enemy, share to a friend, share to, of course, the PNM Sycophant Sunday. Let them know that, of course, there is a refreshing and enduring nightly program from 8 p.m. to 9:30 called the Corridor Transformation. And that you should tune in. And if you missed it, well, of course, it is on YouTube. Just log into Corridor Transformation and you will get it. And of course, if it is you're on Facebook, then of course log into Alfred John and you will also get it. It's important for all of us because it is about vision. It is about moving forward. Backward never, according to, of course, the trade union movement slogan. But let's go straight to the line one time. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
A pleasant good night to you, Mr. Lennox Smith.
Yes, man.
And everybody on the live, a pleasant good night. So, Lennox Smith, so you see the two pictures I was sent for you?
I ain't see that yet, boy. Which one is that?
I sent two pictures for you last night. Just watch them thing that you go see it. Okay,
I'll do that. Sorry about that. Yeah. You must call me one time before the program when you're doing that, so I will have a heads up. But go ahead, I'll try to do it in the program. Tell me. Go ahead.
All right. Well, it's a picture, myself.
Okay.
I thought it's even not see it. I will get the job. I will see it first, and then I will get the joke after. So I will see it, and then I will call back.
All right. Let me see if I could do it online. Whilst we are talking, let me see if I could bring it up. You see a video. It says a picture, right? You showed me.
Yeah, it's two pictures I sent you.
Two pictures, yes. I see you in your African garb. Yes. That's you there in the African garb.
Right, sis.
Okay. I'm going to point up. I don't want no. We have to use the technology, man, and of course, because it can be done expeditiously. Once you have the knowledge and the know-how, you easily, of course, can bring things to life, so to speak, even though it might appear to be difficult for others. But of course, those of us who would have been accurate, those of us who would have familiarized ourselves with the technology, we shouldn't have much of a problem. Let me just widen it here, bam, widen it there, bam, and then of course we'll have our discussion as you say. So let me make sure and get it up on the screen. Now, momentarily, I'll have it up on the screen. Yes, my friend, of course, this is the technology. This is the technological advanced age, and therefore we must be able to, of course, treat with matters of this very expeditiously. Let me see. All right. Let me just make sure and have it here. Document. All right. Let me see. Document. Let me see. This document. Right. This look like it here. Right. Beautiful. All right. So there you have it, my friend. There you have it. Technology, man. So that's you there.
Right.
Right.
So let me give you a little thing what happened to me Friday night.
All right. Go ahead, my friend.
So Friday night when I went on the road for Emancipation, it's 10 years ago I haven't been in one of that due to the PNM. So I said I'm going to liberate myself from the PNM, emancipate myself from the PNM. Right. So I'm at the market square here now.
Okay.
So upstairs the market now I hear they're saying Upstairs is for dignitaries like the MP, the mayor, and the councillor, and this one and that one. And you have to be on the list to go upstairs there.
Yes.
I say, okay. Because I realized when I walk in through point, everybody watching me. So I say, right. I say, I feel I must have some kind of connectivity in Africa roots. So I said, I'm going to walk upstairs the market and see what's going on.
Okay.
When I reach up upstairs here now, a young lady stopped me. She said, yeah, what's going on? Your name on the list? I said, well, let's say talking, but she said, your name has to be on the list in order for you to be upstairs here. And upstairs here is for dignitaries, mayors and MPs and stuff. I said, well, here you go on. I come to meet so by so. Point me in the direction I want to speak to him. She said, I don't know who is that person. I said, well, here you go on. I said, see that gentleman stand up there? I said, that is the security guard for the MP. I said, these people them know me very well. She said, nah, I can't allow you to come in. Your name has to be on the list for you to be upstairs here. Same time, the deputy mayor are watching me with the cane in my hand.
Right.
When he can't take it no more, he called the young lady and say, hey, you see that man? Let that man pass. I said, but wait now. So I said, this woman realized it's King Kulumu she talking to all the time.
I hear you.
The deputy mayor push says, hey, let that man pass. You see that man with that stick in here, let that man pass.
Right.
And it's so happy to get in that special area where they say he had to be on the list.
Yes.
I said, they don't know who is me or what. And it's people who take out a picture and send it to me. I didn't take out a picture more.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, because people only stop him and tell me they want to take out a picture. They want to take out a picture. Man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are splendidly garbed. I mean, fit for a tribal king. Let me put it that way, because I mean, there's so many tribes across there, so I have to be specific. But yes, looking dandy and fit and appropriate for the occasion. After all, it's Emancipation, and therefore we celebrate by using these symbols that what we wear. And that has been a tradition in Trinidad and Tobago. When it's Diwali, of course, well, we do the same thing for the Indian festivals, as well as, of course, that of Indian Arrival Day. But go ahead. You have anything else to add? Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, sometime ago I had asked you a question.
Yes.
Why they doesn't show African shows on the local television?
Yes.
Because I have a serious concern with that. You will put on the TV on the CNC chair, wherever. Me have no problem with these shows, and then whether be showing the Indian show, the Spanish show, wherever. But all that to show African shows too. There is only wait around this time to give you a little thing, and when the day pass, that is it. I have a friend of mine, that same cane we see me have in my hand there.
Yes.
It's a friend of mine, just go Africa. She bring that from Kenya, you know.
Great man. I mean, that's lovely, man.
Imagine $30,000. $30,000 you have to cough out or more to go across Africa. And different ports you have to go. I remember I was telling you, if this government can make it easier, we could just get a direct flight from Trinidad, go to Africa, and say you have to go to America, and then you have to go England.
Yeah, well,
Europe,
of course, I did say it on the ground report this morning, and I think last week, and I said it again last night as well. Yes, that there is arrangement. There's a flight, air transport arrangement that the government has signed with Ghana. I mean, if you get to Ghana, you are on the continent, and therefore you can get from Ghana to wherever else you would like to go on that huge continent. In fact, it's the second largest continent that comprises, of course, the Earth. The first, of course, is Asia. Yes.
Right. So I will be very, very happy if this thing bear fruit, because the average person who never think or dream about going to Africa will get the opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Because right now, what you're going on in America with Trump right now. And people reaching out to me and asking me, boy, how it is here apply to go Canada, because people are thinking about, they want to go Canada and stuff. But in the near future, I would like to go Africa and see how Africa is. Due to the fact that some of my clothes and things that's come from there.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. And I love this topic because, of course, it is in keeping. Normally, I will not engage. You see how much the length I went to, of course, get your picture off the WhatsApp platform, then put it, of course, in a Word document, and then, of course, utilize the app that I have here to bring the program to you, and all of that took a process. But I went through it in such a, it may sound easy because the people who are seeing it have the benefit of the viewing, but if they know what had to go on in order for that to happen almost instantaneously, and then of course it'll be a mind-boggling affair. But the point I am making here is that I thought it was important enough to go through all of that in order to, of course, bring your message of the African diaspora and the opportunities that the presentation of the Prime Minister would have brought an air of fresh perspective, an air of optimism, an air of saying in no uncertain terms, listen, Africans can make it when and if they try. Go ahead, because I have some other calls coming in.
Right now, people are take that next call. Doctor, listening.
All right, thank you very much, my friend, for that intervention. Let's go straight, of course, to Mr. Tagarigua. The caller that I cut off, I thought that your number might come up on the system, just as Mr. Point Fortin. So I cut it off, but of course, please call back. That was deliberate from me, but it was to make certain that your contribution is well, of course, dealt with. Let's go straight there. Pleasant good night, but I had a caller before you, but Mr. Tagarigua, you want to hold on? Yeah, I appreciate that, because this caller was calling on the system itself before you. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, caller. I'll say where you're calling from.
Hi, good night, Mr. Smith. My name is Kamal Prasad. I would have spoken with you a little earlier today.
Oh, yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. Yes. Tell us what is the issue, Mr. Tagarigua. This may take a little while. So if you believe that you're running up whatever points, you could of course withdraw, because I spoke with this gentleman earlier today, and I think he has a issue that we need to air, because it is of course it is an attempt to unravel the constraints and the strictures in circumstances where welfare and assistance in this country should be so loose or loosened in order for it to deliver to the downtrodden and the poor and those who are in need. So, Mr. Rampersad, is it?
Yes, it is Kamal Rampersad.
Right. Go ahead, tell us what the issue is. In the meantime, I'll try to put on the system so the whole world can see your situation as you explain in the meantime. Go ahead and explain.
So my mom is an epileptic patient.
Your mom is an epileptic.
Yeah,
okay, right. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, she suffers from epilepsy seizures.
Go ahead. Yes.
And in January, when she was hospitalized 3 times due to epileptic seizure.
Okay.
She was also diagnosed with early dementia, also rheumatoid arthritis as well.
Wow.
And with her situation now, she requires someone to be at home all the time, because all her seizures are becoming more frequent. Anytime a seizure could take place and she could fall down and nobody will know anything.
Yes.
So she's not allowed to cook or do anything, basically by herself.
Right.
And with the situation there now, where I am unable to work, and well, my mom gets old age pension, but right now that is really not enough to take care of everything. And with our home situation, we have our old board house, and wood lice and everything has been eating up everything till now. It literally started, the walls starting to collapse. Certain parts of the roof just leak and everything. And well, CNC, she did broadcast our situation about a little more than a month now, and a social worker did come and saw the situation, but because we don't have a deed for the land, Even though I did went by a GP and I got an affidavit done up indicating the amount of years we live in here with no issues with the original owner, because we're not sure if the original owner alive or deceased, or even if the owner in the country. So
Okay.
they told us we wouldn't be able to obtain the necessary home repair grants to do home repairs, and due to the state of the house, we cannot even get a geriatric aid as well right now.
Wow.
And
Wow.
with all those situations, it's really difficult to be handling everything, because with the rainy season and thing upon us, it's kind of fearful as to how the weather will affect the home. And well, my mom, she's using Pampers and trying to handle everything with just her old age pension. It's becoming really difficult and hard. And all my pleas has been going unheard of right now. Every avenue I'm trying to reach out to see how we could gain assistance. Now, the public has been helping as much as they could with groceries and stuff, but right now things have slowed down tremendously, and that is understandable as school season coming up and everything. But it's really hard, because even today I tried reaching out back to the ministry for any updates, and all I was told, there's no updates as yet.
So let me get it clear. So this has been for some time. People, you see it on the screen, where of course CNC3 did of course highlight this particular plight of this family, epileptic. Of course, very difficult, because is a disease that where you don't know when it will strike, and therefore of course to go to work or to go on any simple or nominal errand could result, of course, in a seizure, in an episode that, of course, would be most likely would be in circumstances where people are unprepared. So such a person has to remain at home. In such circumstance, of course, but they have to eat, they have to live, they have to, of course, dress, they have to, as well, food, shelter, they have to have shelter, etc. And here it is, of course, they did what the Ministry of Social Development, these days is called the Ministry of the People and Social Development, would do, because that is their core function, to of course treat with persons that fall through the cracks, so to speak, the social and economic crack. And here it is, of course, just repeat for us how long you have applied, and what is the latest development as far as the response by the ministry is concerned. Just tell us once again.
So, well, this would have been roughly more than a month now, and I even, the social worker came as well. I even asked the social worker if by chance we will be able to obtain a food card to start off us for the time being, because
Yes.
that would have helped tremendously.
Right.
And I was told that it might be difficult because my mom getting a senior citizen pension, and all that I explained, that is not enough to even handle my mom meds and everything, and I unable to work. I don't have an income for myself coming in. I was told our situation will be difficult to obtain any type of help.
Wow, wow, wow. I trust that the Minister of the People, and I think there are two, I think there's another minister there. If I had the choice, of course, to work in a ministry, I would want to work in that particular ministry, because I think so many people, and so many people with whom I encounter, like take for instance you, can be given some kind of assurance that, of course, that impediment of course, because you are on one, you can't get the other. And while, of course, there is a need for some kind of objective and analytical intervention, so as to abreast oneself of the unique nature, because I'm sure that there are exceptions to the rule. I'm sure that there are exceptions. I'm sure that there are persons who, based on the analysis and the circumstance and the dire nature of certain people's circumstance, they are on more than one benefit that the ministry will provide. And therefore, of course, I think your argument is solid. Tell me, why are you not working, or is there some issue why you are not working? Why are you not working?
Well, I left my job to see about my mom because not everybody will
Okay.
be able to understand my mom's situation
Beautiful, beautiful.
and be able to deal with her. And as much as somebody will tell me I could put my mom in a home, I will not do that unless I really have no choice because I believe the sacrifices my mom made for me growing up
Wow.
is only fair enough that I take care of my mom in her time of need instead of just putting her in a home and leaving her there.
And these days, of course, we have some awful news coming out of some of those homes. Not all, but of course, sufficient to generate the skepticism and the doubt and the apprehension that you have just expressed. And all of that should be laid, and I'm sure was laid, at the foot of the officer or officers that would be responsible for adjudicating on matters of that nature. And they are still, of course, acting with a level of tardiness that could really further detriment the whole situation. Isn't that what you are suggesting? Because you're talking about
Yes.
starvation, you're talking about having to pay electricity bills. Let's not waste time with that. Water rate wise is not as frequent as the electricity, but certainly these are bills that will consume from the pension and the pension, because that is what you all are relying on. Are there other members of the family that are there, and cannot, of course, work? Maybe children, etc. I don't know. You tell me.
No,
is
it's
there-
just
is
my
there
mom and
anything
myself.
that you and her? But that should be.
Yes.
That shouldn't be very, very difficult for an objective-minded and concerned civil servant working in the Ministry of Social Development to address. I'll tell you what. I did look at your matter, and what I would do, I will write it to the minister, bringing this matter to her attention, because there may be much more that could be done to, of course, assist that particular situation that you have found yourself in, and let's see if that will bring some relief to you, since, of course, the pension is woefully inadequate, and of course, and you have dedicated yourself to the meeting the needs of your mother. I know that the ministry, for example, did they offer, let's say, caregiver assistance? Because there are people who are paid to provide, of course, assistance to the aged in their homes, being paid to get home, to go into the homes and assist. That might be something that you may feel a little more comfortable with, because you have some control as opposed to putting
Yes.
her in a home. Let me hear.
Yes, that was also how conversed with the social worker. However, when he saw the condition of the home and our kitchen area and bathroom, I was told that certain repairs need to be done before, because there's a checklist that your home need to be to a certain extent in order to get a geriatric aid.
Right. And of course, it comes across to me now that your circumstance is one that requires multiple ministry approaches, so that the Ministry of Housing, for example, in this particular case, and or the self-help agency may well have to be deployed here in order to, of course, generate a satisfactory quality of life and standard of living, minuscule as it is there, tattered as it is right now, inadequate as it is right now. Are you saying that, or are you in agreement that if these other agencies come into play, you may find yourself in a better situation, and therefore, of course, be satisfied that at least enough, or I shouldn't say enough, but a sufficient amount has been done so as to make you a little more comfortable, you and your mother?
Yes, absolutely. Because my hope is really that we could be able to obtain at least a food card as well, could be able to help
Food
out
card, yes,
with
that
that
too, yes.
aspect
So
as
the
well.
minister, that letter to the minister, I will of course do that. So include that. So we will communicate tomorrow, and just to get some finer details. The ministry, fortunately, is not too far from us here on George Street, just about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 streets away. We have, of course, when we leave George Street, heading west. That is where the ministry is located on St. Vincent Street. We have, of course, Charlotte Street. Then you get Henry Street. Then you get Frederick Street. Then you get Abercrombie Street. And then, of course, you get St. Vincent Street after Abercrombie Street. So within walking distance, and I will ask my
Yes.
couriers to, of course, do the honors for and on your behalf. Thank you very much, of course,
So, and
for gracing
well,
us
I
with your
know,
presence and for
no,
expressing your
no
concern. Go ahead.
problem. No, well, I know with the ministry, everything takes a process and everything, and I totally understand that. So, I believe well, the video would have had my phone number as well. So, I'm just appealing that if maybe any viewers or anything would like to help out in any way, be it if it pampers for my mom or anything, they could feel free to reach out to me. It would be greatly
Yes.
appreciated.
Give us that number. Give us that number, because I mean we are too glad to assist in that regard. Any good Samaritan, any person who are concerned, any altruist that is out there, any humanitarian that is out there, and Trinidad and Tobago has a lot. I can tell you that because of our own experience. So, but this is a unique scenario, and this young man really needs help for his mother. He has taken on the responsibility, of course, of caring for her, and for whatever time that God gives her remaining on the face of this earth. She, of course, being an epileptic case. Give her the number. Give us the number.
So, my phone number is 752
752
05
05
83.
83. Right? And you want to give your name?
Yeah, my name is Kamal Rampasar.
Okay, so Mr. Rampasad. So, can I
Yeah,
ask
and the number
Rampasad?
is and the number is 752.
752 0583. 752
Yes, that is correct.
0583. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Rampasad, for gracing us. Any parting words that you would like? Any offering of, let's say, optimism, or advice to persons who may be in a similar situation? Because I'm sure that you are not unique in this regard.
Yes. So, well, first off, I just want to say a thank you to all those who will be listening and who would have reached out and helped us before. It's truly appreciated. And I want to say a thank you to those who would be reaching out to help in any way possible. And for those who would be going through something similar to us or even the same thing, I would want to say, don't lose faith. Even though sometimes you will get frustrated and feel like it's not worth it, don't lose faith, because this is a page in our chapter that God wrote for us, and God have a plan and purpose for each one of us. So my advice is to don't ever lose faith and just keep faith and trust that something better days are ahead. And
Marvelous,
this
marvelous, my friend.
situation don't last forever, and better days are ahead. And these situations will be our biggest testimony in the near future to encourage someone else who will be going through. Because one thing I've learned, we will never be the first nor the last to go through situations like this.
Oh, wonderful. You sound like a preacher, mixed with, of course, an altruist, mixed with a humanitarian, mixed with a pragmatist, mixed with, of course, someone that could be considered a motivator. So those of you who are out there and have your travails as well, listen to this young man, and you see how difficult it is. But before you go, let us play the audio. I deliberately took off the audio on the CNC3 piece that was recorded with respect to the plight of this family. But listen to it now, in terms of the
Sure.
audio.
Kimraj Rampasad lives a life of silent sacrifice. Each day begins in darkness as he cares for his frail mother, 69-year-old Hasina Hussein, who cannot be left alone.
My mom for years now growing up, she suffers from epileptic seizure. But since last year and this year, her seizure started to become more worse. That in January month, she was hospitalized 3 times, also diagnosed with early dementia as well. And in March month as well, they diagnosed her with rheumatoid arthritis also.
Once an accountant, graphic artist, and a social media manager, 30-year-old Rampasad gave up his career to care for his mother. During one of her seizures a few years ago, she collapsed on a stove, losing several fingers. Unable to leave her side, Rampasad pleads for a remote job to help him provide for them both.
I am trying to see to get a work from home job opportunity as well too, and some persons close to me trying to see what they could see companies who do that, but so far we have not been getting any luck to get a work from home job for I to be able to help out the situation for myself as well.
He says their wooden house at Caratal Road, Hermitage Village, Claxton Bay, is falling apart. The roof leaks, the walls shake, and the cold wind cuts through the gaps, worsening her pain.
Certain parts of our home need urgent repairs because in the night time as well too, when my mom room have holes and stuff, so when cold breeze and thing blow and her rheumatoid arthritis act up and that's real pain really bad. Sometimes I will wake up all 11 o'clock in the night time because I will hear she crying with the pain and stuff.
Rampasad says he is hoping to get some assistance to complete this front annex, which his father, Harold Rampasad, started to build 10 years ago. Shortly after construction began, his father died.
When I was working and stuff, easy, well, certain parts outside, I will hire a guy to help do block off, continue to block off and plaster, whatever could have done and stuff. But it have been difficult because never really, with my job and thing, was no big paying job and thing. So it was enough to basically pay for my little studies and help out with home stuff and everything. So never was able to complete it fully.
He is hoping that the public can help him with groceries, adult diapers, and some building materials to repair their home. Anyone wanting to assist can call the numbers on the screen. Radhika De Silva, CNC3 News.
Well, people, of course, that number is 752-0583, 752-0583. Any parting words, my friend? I think we would have highlighted this, a very, what I consider to be harrowing story. And of course, I think you could be considered to be a hero in this regard. No, young people do not take on that responsibility to the extent where they give up their job, for example, in order to, of course, take care of their mothers who may be ailing one way or another, or aging as well. I mean, you are a motivator, my friend, whether you like it or not, or you are conscious of it or not. And I like the idea, and I'm sure that there are people who, of course, may well accept the fact that here it is, you are willing to work, but you have to work from home, and maybe the necessary arrangements can be made by some businessman who require skills like yours. What are the skills that you specialize in?
I specialize in administrative, accounting, customer service, as well as graphic designing as well.
Wow, graphic accounting, it means therefore you are perfect for work at home, but with a work at home arrangement. They could simply send the books to be where the accounting is required. And of course, as a graphic artist, you don't need to be in a place outside of your home to, of course, generate your creativity, which of course is built into your mind, so to speak. So again, you are well poised for that kind of work at home scenario. The question is whether or not people out there will, of course, be taking up the challenge, and I trust that that would be so, having regard, of course, to what we learned tonight. Thank you very much, my good friend, and of course, this will not be the last, even though it is the first, but it will be the first of many. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye, my friend. Yes,
You
indeed.
forget me hotel what?
Yes, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Tagrigo has been waiting all this time, patiently or impatiently. But go ahead, Mr. Tagrigo.
Right. I had two pressing issues to talk about tonight.
Go ahead.
That cricket last night
Yeah.
and the police. But let me talk about the cricket, Lennox.
Okay.
I'm so vexed, boy. West Indies had that game won and they threw it away.
Uh-huh.
Let me show you how. Rutherford and Russian Chase was batting. You have a partnership day coming to the end of the game, right?
Yes.
Pakistan couldn't break that partnership at all. They were at the wits end. I watching them and analyzing the whole situation.
Okay.
And if they bowl too short to Rutherford, hitting them all over the ground. And if they bowl wide, they get no ball. And Sammy and them calling Russian Chase.
So?
Yes.
Wow. Go ahead.
Say he batting too slow. They break the partnership of Pakistan. Pakistan will be laugh for them, Lennox. Right? Just send a holder to see because they figure they have enough time to. They had more than enough time to make the runs. I would have fought hitting the ball all about. Nobody do break up a partnership like that, Lennox. And coming to the end of the game, you do that? Well, let me tell you something. They should put Sammy and all them selectors, whoever having anything to do with Indies cricket,
Yeah.
they should build a big cannon.
A big what?
A cannon.
Cannon, I see. Okay.
A cannon and put some big cannon ball inside.
A cannon rocket.
Yes.
All right, I hear you.
And put some big cannon ball in there. And put Sammy and all who concern with West Indian cricket there.
Yeah.
Selectors inside that cannon, I like it.
I hear you, my friend. I hear
And
you.
do that dance out
And let
of
them,
it.
and let them sail away.
Yes, boy.
Let them sail away to nothingness.
I never see stupidness like that, Lennox.
Oh my goodness. I could well imagine how the experts are talking. And I know that you are not talking on your own volition or by your own interpretation, but that would have been a unanimous position. Because I know the kind of thought pattern that you have. Yeah. All right.
I hear nothing from nobody but it.
Oh, yeah, not yeah.
So
Well,
that's my own interpretation.
oh, that's your interpretation. All right, okay. Well, I
Just
just
show me the game.
yeah, throw the game, right? Yeah, because there will be some
Yeah, Brian Davis and
tough-
all them go kick-
some
go
tough
kick
talk.
back to that when they're ready.
Yeah, some tough talk, some vitriolic talk in the dressing room by the coach. But the coach, but saying the coach selector must also talk to himself as well.
Of course.
Oh, I
You
hear
want
you.
to put them in a cannon.
I hear you. All right, thanks very much.
Yes, I mean, let me done.
Oh, you have our next one, yes. Go ahead.
I was watching the game between England and India
Uh-huh.
yesterday before bad light stopped the
That's cricket we're talking about here now, eh? Go ahead.
cricket.
Yes.
And England had to make 35 runs
Yeah.
to win the game. And when I listen to the English commentators, I say, nah, I had to get up this morning. I get up 6 o'clock this morning to watch that game.
Right.
Because some English commentators told me to. They said that the way them Indian bowlers bowling,
Yes.
it can be difficult for England to make their runs.
England.
India bowl them out.
They bowled them out.
Yes, boy.
How much wickets they had by the time they had to make the 35?
They had, I think, 6 wickets down.
6 wickets? 6 wickets down?
Yes,
Oh, so there are 4 inside.
yes.
Okay.
And one of the captain, his hand was in a sling, so he really can't bat.
Wow.
But if he had to come out, he will come out and bat one-handed.
Yeah, you had to bat. Yeah. When a man is injured and a crisis like that is looming, he has to forego the injury or worsen
Yeah,
it.
but-
Yeah, in order to save save the match and save the side and save the humiliation. But they still get it anyway.
Chance to face a ball,
All right.
and that put pressure on the other batsman,
Yes, yes.
and then you bowl them out.
Wow.
But you see, listen to the English commentators talking. Them have sense.
All right.
Not like Sammy and these set of idiots, boy.
I hear you. Well, of course,
Put
this,
them in a cannon and blow them away.
yeah, this and others, including, of course, West Indian cricket as a whole, certainly must be a topic that we must broach, because I remember very distinctly Marlon Blacks. He, of course, came from our program, MLIU, and he did well in England. And I did feature some of his escapades on this program, but we have several persons who would have come out from these communities, not just in cricket, but of course you have Russell Atapi and a number of others. Claude, I think there's a Claude, can't remember his full name, but he was there. He is a national, you know,
A national player.
yeah, was a national player as well, or had the potential to be a national player. And we need, of course, to highlight these individuals, but more importantly, of course, the game itself, and especially cricket, and why it is, of course, we are not doing too well. And indeed, we have to, of course, look at football or soccer as well, because clearly we are not doing as well as we ought to there as well, since, of course, Warner and that historic, I shouldn't say pilgrimage, but certainly journey to, of course, with the World Cup and that particular occasion. The only one so far that we have been able to go to. Is it the only one? I think somebody was telling me that.
Ben Acker was the coach.
Ben Acker, yes. Somebody was telling me that we went to a World Cup before that, but
They were
the
talking
history
about
doesn't reflect that. All right. Thank you very much.
Right?
Yes, man.
I will tell you about the police after, because we are time.
All right. Okay, my friend.
But
Yes.
let me tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
The police have to make up their mind what they really want, you know.
Okay.
If they want to have good relations with the public
Yeah.
or not. Because you can't be changing around police from a police station where everybody know the police.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you move them and new police come in. Right? That is how one way how the fake police get in this is.
Yeah, they
You understand what I'm saying?
there are advantages and disadvantages, but they do these frequent, should I say, shifting, largely because they don't want the police to be too familiar with the people and fraternize, and that might compromise their judgment and their work. But on the other hand, you are producing beasts, because the replacement may not be as congenial as the person who may be from that particular community, asks to police that particular community. So there are different dynamics that are operating.
Yes, they
That too,
create-
of course, we will look at in due course.
You're creating openings in the system for
Yeah.
the police to get in.
Whether there's a greater advantage or disadvantage by utilizing one structure or one methodology as opposed to the other. We need to
doing that shit for
engage
the
those
longest
kinds of
while now.
discussions as well. Yeah.
For the longest while they're doing that.
Yeah. I know that a fella taking the fraternizing here, they send him toko.
All of that.
Yeah. So
How
is
will you ever
so
know who is fake
so
police
is
and
a
who is not
is
fake
a
police?
punishment as well.
That's why we should say if they have one police uniform and they can shoot them.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who is who. They're creating that on their own.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thanks.
one
Yeah.
last thing.
We will extrapolate, and we will, of course, dissect that argument, because we ourselves will be hosting, of course, Stand Your Ground legislation, of course, seminars. Right here in studio on the corridor transformation. We'll have some youths in here, and we will, of course, we are organizing, and we will have members of Love, etc., and other organizations having a hefty debate on this particular matter, because in places like these, whilst, of course, one doesn't expect that people will need guns or weapons to defend simply because, of course, it's a poor community. But the fact is that it is healthy to debate because many of the persons who may be on the wrong side of a gun or of a bullet because they may have gone and invade, we need to let them know to stop that as well. We have to be real and we have to be practical.
Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I say you know which part I is.
Yes, yes.
I the only man that have my door open till after 9 o'clock in the night, you know.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah,
Right? And depending on my dog and God.
yeah. Well, I suppose
They can say what they want.
I could boast of that right here as well. Here is the only place on George Street that we leave the doors unlocked and make our departure. We just tell the people that is yours. That is yours. Take care of it. And today I had a classic example where some people came in. The door was open, but of course the people across the road observed that, and when they realized that I wasn't around, they then of course came across and told them very nicely that Mr. Smith is not around and maybe it may not be a good idea to remain in here extensively.
But that is, you see,
Yeah.
you have your watchman and them.
That's right, that's the point I'm making. And I suppose
own police,
you have,
eh?
yes, you have your own as well on your side.
And you tell and your police tell them like it is, in other words, get out of here.
Yes, exactly. You know, because it is a symbiotic relationship. We exist for mutual benefit. They know the lady who, of course, was that intrusive. She came across because I was helping her. I'm helping her with her pension, and she, of course, want to make sure that she get value for money. And that, of course, nobody just walk out with the equipment and so on and so forth because she has to protect that. Otherwise, of course, there will be a delay. So you see what's happening there. So that is the kind of relationship we have to have in our respective communities.
If Rowley and them afraid you, I mean, I don't like you.
I hear you.
Looking out for you.
I hear you, my friend. All right, so thanks very much.
You can
Yeah,
talk.
you talk, yes, indeed. Very, very interesting people, of course. This is a social intervention program as well. So you would appreciate, of course, that these matters are very relevant to the East-West corridor. And from time to time, if not regularly, we will be engaging. And therefore, of course, all of these matters we will put to you in due course in the form of a forum or a tongue meeting, if you want to call it that, or a discussion where we'll bring the parties in studio. That young man was prepared to come here today, but I told him, no, stay where he is, and we'll be able, of course, to have this intervention because he would be away from his mother, and I didn't want anything untoward to happen. So the number is on the screen. The number, those of you who would want to assist that young man and the family in their plight, 752-0583. Let me repeat it, 752-0583, and you can do so now or in the morning as the case may be. I left it there so that those of you who just came on and will have heard the plea of this young man, that you do so, of course, with a high degree of concern and consciousness for the less fortunate in our society. Let me go to the line. A pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor.
Good night, sir. Good night. How are you?
I'm fine, my friend, and you and yourself.
Well, I'm not so fine, because here what's going on. I'm going to get licks again, but I don't care.
Go ahead.
This young man seeing trouble, right?
Uh-huh.
And people on the chat, they with their fake name, have all kind of thing to say. But I don't know why these people are like that. I know that man personally.
Okay.
It's just that I leave the village 50 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And what I think he did tell you, more than one time for the week, he just had to take his mother to hospital, doctor, and he just have to pay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it was COVID around, they would have talked about comorbidities, meaning that you have multiple issues of health. If it's at heart, it's kidney, and of course blood pressure, high or low, and of course the epileptic episodes. I mean, it is just not right to leave such a person alone, and it is right for the young man to take that decision, I want to say. But you are going to get the naysayers, and you're going to get, of course, the skeptics. I think we should see the glass half full as opposed to half empty, because there are those who cannot help it. And therefore, of course, the devil will always have its imps. And those imps will, of course, express in a negative way a scenario where, of course, the young man alone and his mother and his family would be known, and therefore to be judge, jury, and God, the plain God. They will have their turn at the right time. But let us, of course, take it at face value that this is a desperate situation and it needs to be addressed. And those of us who have some resource, like take for instance, I decided to pen a letter to the minister. There are others who may have some financial resources. Others may have some galvanized and wood and board and so on. All of that, of course, you may have to pay the cost of transporting it to where it is required as far as that young man is concerned, because there is a unfinished premises, unfinished building that needs to be, of course, secured from the elements. But go ahead, Mr. Freeport.
Yes, well, what has happened, when I could do it, I just supply transport for them.
Okay.
Right? And I just, whatever help I could get for them, I just do that.
Beautiful.
And a lot of people who just be bashing me on this program and the other program and whichever program, they don't know these are the things I just be doing. But I don't have to tell everybody that. But I only let you know now. In case you get anything, I could come and collect it and drop it for them. Or if you want to go where they live.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
If anybody calls me, of course, I will do so. The number to call here is, of course, is flashing across the screen. The screen 337-6940. So if you have and you are so inclined, because you may have some difficulty transportation or otherwise, certainly, and I will get in contact with Mr. Freeport. That's the kind of networking I expect, and I want to thank you for, of course, encouraging him to, of course, come and speak frankly about his situation, and of course, therefore, I want to thank you as well for the chatine that you brought for our family.
Don't say all them things. Don't say all them things.
No. I am the kind of person who believes that where merit is due, merit should be, of course, advocated, and not only that, but offered and promoted. Too often, people do very salient and very humane things in silence, when, of course, just a thank you publicly will, of course, be a motivation for others, because I have seen it in my own life. When we were at the budget consultation, for example, and people were saying, well, Mr. Smith is the one that has been helping and so on. And I can say categorically that no other person in Trinidad and Tobago has been able to do what we have done here in a place that is extremely hard. It started with 400 persons applying for jobs and businessmen, of course, inquiring. We are just finalizing a memorandum with the Ministry of Labor to see how we can tap and to get some of these people in. Tomorrow we are visiting, of course, the director of the URP to see whether or not it's temporary work, but of course it will put something on the table for the time being, and therefore everything that you can, of course, assist with in order to ameliorate and to provide a meal on the table. Those of us who have the capacity and the willingness and the ability must, of course, do our part. After all, we are our brother's keeper. And that is where we are going. So damn those who, of course, are skeptical, those whose minds are so warped that they cannot, of course, bring themselves to accept. And there are those who believe that because they are not in that situation, that nobody else must be in it, and they must pull themselves up by their own bootstrap. Well, I want to tell them, go in a bucket, stand up in it, and then take the handle and pull it upwards to see if you could raise yourself out of the bucket. That is where I would want to go with them. So, Mr. Freeport, I don't want to in any way say anything to, of course, discourage you. And where there is merit, where there is deserving, we need to, of course, to identify these people. And I say you are one of those persons who, of course, have been helping in your own little way. And when you speak as well, you have been assisting others by merely talking from time to time. So, any other matter that you want to raise? Because I want to go back to, of course, Emancipation and the presentation by Kamala Prasad Bissessa to the African community.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
One more thing.
Yeah.
That boy don't have a second person to look after his mother.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's why he had to.
He don't have, you know.
Yeah, he look as
because
he's a one son.
When I tell him to talk to you, I tell him as if Lennox need you to come to the studio. Have no fear, I will be there.
Oh, right. So
whatever,
you had made arrangements.
whatever.
Yeah, when I heard him, I
Yes.
said that it makes no sense coming to the studio. We will talk in the way that we did. And fortunately, the technology is such that everything that he wanted to say would have been said. And even when material that normally will not be aired efficiently, but you had to talk it. Here it is, it could be aired for itself because of the technology that we have deployed. So thank you very much for your intervention, my friend, in that matter.
Thank you too. Have a blessed night.
Same to you, my friend. Same to you, my friend. Yes, a very good friend and a very, should I say, a person who has a very broad shoulder and a very big heart. He himself, of course, is an amputee, and we were able to work with him in order to, of course, assist him not becoming a total paraplegic, meaning that confined to a wheelchair. So he's not. He drives and so on and so forth. So he's a man of many hats and grit and determination that is worthy of emulation. But that being as it may, people, of course, the time has come because Kamala Prasad Bissessa did, in fact, indicate that the African community should be treated in a manner that is befitting the community, the African community I'm talking about. Let me just go to that particular video, and then of course we'll have what she said in the background as well. I didn't get her actual speech, but I have a copy of it on the from the newspaper, and I have converted it into, of course, a MP3 playing in the background, in addition to the video that we will have on screen momentarily. They're trying to get it as we speak. Let me just make sure that I have it. I had it earlier there, right? So I have the MP3. Let me see if I can get now the video itself. The video itself. Let me go again. Yes, I think I have the video itself. Let me see. Let me just try to get that again. Yes, indeed, people. Don't forget, of course, we cut off at 9:30, but it is now what? 9:35. So we'll take a little more time and see. Okay, I think it's important that the African community listen to this, hear this, and inculcate and see that there are people who are serious about our welfare and development. And clearly the PNM not only have they disappointed, but they have been exploitative of the African community for their own personal aggrandizement. For their own personal aggrandizement and benefit politically. And that is so unfortunate. So unfortunate indeed. So unfortunate. All right. In the meantime, let me play the in the background what Kamla Prasad Bisesa would have said. I'm still to get that particular video, but I have the audio. So let me play that. Let me play that in the background. Where is it? Where is it? Come on. Murphy's Law at work here. What? Right. Good. Let me see if I can play that now.
Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesa has unveiled an action plan aimed at deepening cultural recognition, economic empowerment, and reparatory justice for the descendants of enslaved Africans. Delivering the feature address at the well-attended African Emancipation Day celebrations at the Ligeia Omawal Emancipation Village, Queen's Park Savannah, Port of Spain, yesterday, Prasad-Bisesa praised the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, ESCT, for its local, regional, and global trailblazing work. To honor the committee's contribution, she announced that her government would direct the relevant ministries to partner with the ESCT on a focused 4-point action plan to engender 1. Cultural guardianship by expanding grants for drumming schools, mosque camps, heritage archives, and digital storytelling labs. 2. Curriculum restoration to embed African civilization, enslavement, resistance, and Afro-Trinbagonian achievement in the national school syllabus. 3. Trade relinkage to finalize the Ghana Air Service CES agreement, launch a West Africa Caribbean Special Economic Zone, and dual list top SMEs on both the Trinidad and Tobago and Lagos stock exchanges. 4. Youth and food security to kickstart Phase I of the African Heritage Agricultural Center, AFRA, and explore avenues for microcredit, crop insurance, and export license CES for young farmers. The Prime Minister commended the ESCT's ongoing commitment to national development, highlighting its work across 3 strategic pillars. Cultural vanguard through awards, lectures, films, school visits, and heritage tours that inspire youth and strengthen national unity. Economic bridge builders with 25 years of trade and investment symposia that have opened African markets, established an air link with Nigeria, initiated talks with Ghana, and developed supply chains via the Africa Business Group and Afrexim Bank. Youth and food security pioneers through AFRA's training of out-of-school youth in climate-smart farming, the conversion of idle lands into green classrooms, and contribution to reducing the country's $5.6 billion food import bill, while advancing 6 UN Sustainable Development Goals. Thanks to ESCT's stewardship, TNT is more cohesive, vibrant, and resilient, and its impact now lights the path for the wider Caribbean. Let us repay their resolve with decisive action, not applause alone, she said. Re-empowering the National Reparations Committee. The Prime Minister also reaffirmed her commitment to the reparations mission, pledging that in her second prime ministerial term, her government would re-empower the National Reparations Committee. Support CARICOM's charge at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting this October pursuing debt relief, developmental financing, and binding institutional reforms. This is a lawful debt, forged in centuries of unpaid labor and stolen futures. I commit my voice, my office, and every ounce of political capital to move reparations from aspiration to achievement so the next generation inherits not just the memory of freedom but the means to flourish in its fullness, she said. Prasad-Bisesa noted the ESCT's theme for this year's celebrations, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice, is no mere slogan but commands definitive action. She emphasized the need for a targeted national effort to quantify the wealth extracted from enslaved Africans and to secure concrete financial, institutional, and psychological remedies. She called for collective mobilization across village councils, civil society networks, CARICOM, and the Commonwealth until former empires pay their moral debt. She also underscored the role of cultural power in the reparations movement, transforming sorrow into strategy, turning festival drums into policy and memory into momentum. In short, it fuses heritage with hope and remembrance with restitution, summoning us all to secure justice and shape sustainable tomorrows, she said. Endurance of the enslaved. Recalling her past efforts at reparations, Prasad-Bisesa highlighted that in 2013, as Prime Minister and CARICOM chair, she placed reparations at the top of the regional agenda, secured unanimous CARICOM support, and created Trinidad and Tobago's National Reparations Committee under the leadership of Sir Hilary Beckles and other distinguished figures. Between 2014 and 2015, her government funded legal research, community consultations, and archival audits to quantify the reparations claim, she said. She reminded the audience that on July 31, 2015, she pledged to the nation that her government remained unwaveringly committed to reparations for slavery and native genocide, and championed the issue at CARICOM, Commonwealth, and UN forums. From 2015 to 2024, even while out of government, Prasad Bisesar said she continued to advocate for the cause, noting that on August 1, 2022, she warned that reparations remain essential to honor those who fought for liberation. Together government, diaspora, and allies we will pull it unflinchingly until reparatory justice moves from slogan to settlement and every child of African descent inherits not just freedom's memory, but its material rewards. Prasad Bisesar concluded with a rallying cry, the task now is to carry that torch farther into a future where no chain, visible or invisible, can ever dim its light. So let the drums blaze with ancestral fire, let Belmont's youth sow seeds of possibility, and let every Caribbean delegation reach Malta this October with one voice and one demand, reparatory justice now. The Prime Minister acknowledged the presence of specially invited guests, including Emmanuel Kwadwo-Agyekam, Minister in charge of special initiatives in the Office of the President of the Republic of Ghana, and incoming President of Afreximbank Dr. George Alambi. She also paid tribute to former ISK Chairman Kafra Kamben, who was honored with an award during the ceremony.
Yes, indeed, people. Yes, well, I just got the video that was supposed to play with that voice, that audio, but better late than never. So these are some of the highlights of the Emancipation celebrations. And of course, we are already, of course, past 9:30. So of course, better late than never. So here you have, of course, some of the highlights. Some of the pictures that would have been taken of the celebrations. Of course, you could only have a visual spectre, but some of the things that you smell, the food, and the things that you would taste, the drinks, etc., we wouldn't be able to do it. The technology is not yet that good. But I say artificial intelligence in the future will allow us to, of course, smell what would have been cooking or what would have been on the offering of the street food. And of course, in addition to that, apart from hearing and apart from seeing, I don't know how they would do it, but I can see, of course, a picture giving you a piece of the food, and then you taste it and believe that of course, somehow it has come from an occasion such as that. But they say some of the things that we are witnessing today were in comic books, like going to the moon, etc. Now, of course, it is now commonplace. In fact, they are making an arrangement to go to Mars and have a colony there. So, people, of course, thanks very much, of course, for staying with us. I want to thank all the callers for calling in. I want to also say share. And I also want to say that I will have the additional number on the screen so that you can get to make your contribution. Call Anne-Marie, who of course will accommodate you anytime with respect, of course, to our back to school book and uniform drive in particular. More uniform than anything else, simply because the government of Kamla Prasad Bisesar and the coalition of interests, they are around and they are sensitive and they have put things in place to assist in that area. So the question of uniforms and so on will certainly be an issue that the poor and the downtrodden may have some challenges with, in spite of the magnanimity of the government in terms of providing for the preparation of young people and families to return to school, to stay in school, and to benefit from the offerings, from the teachings. Clearly, if teaching takes place, well, the other side of that is that learning must be appreciated and also take place. So people, of course, so those are some of the issues that we wanted to share with you tonight, and we have in fact done so. I want to thank the young man for, of course, being that brave and very articulate indeed to, of course, pledge his commitment to his parents, to his mother, I should say, a single parent, with respect, of course, to taking care of her in that epileptic, of course, ailment that she is suffering with, unpredictable and indeed very discomforting and humiliating at times, because I think she lost some fingers as a consequence of one of the episodes, because you don't know yourself in such situation. Thank God, of course, most of us are not so subjected, but as human beings, we have to have some sympathy, not necessarily empathy, but certainly sympathy. Empathy here would mean, of course, you cannot feel what she is feeling. And that is my distinction as far as empathy is concerned. Just in case there are people who believe that it is a term that would be used to suggest otherwise. So people, there we have it. Of course, let's go back, of course, to where we started, the money worries scenario, where, of course, we started by saying that the budget is upon us, and tomorrow, of course, we will engage in some additional information and extrapolation and analysis as far as the budget is concerned. And don't forget, of course, we have the Stand Your Ground legislation as well, that we will be taking a unique approach in terms of addressing, simply because in this part of the country, you have to take a unique approach, because this part of the country, not that the people want to get a gun license, but it may be that we could save some persons or persons that may be the perpetrators of course, home invasion. We have to be real. And why is it there are suppliers? You have the suppliers. You also have, of course, those persons who may be on the other side of the pendulum and would take decisive action once the law provides ultimately them so to do.
To a bed in the hospital, yeah. And we can't hear a word from Health Minister Kamal. Whoa. Black dirty water we had to drink. Was I say clean, but it smelling stink. And my friend, the body, money ain't no problem. My friend, the shouting, money ain't no problem. You can't even use your phone to dial a prayer. Yeah. All the phones in a mess and it's like nobody care. Whoa. You can't even call the Prime Minister. He got the phones in the Gulf of Paria. My friend, the shouting, money ain't no problem. Lord, money ain't no problem. The AG started a drive to stop corruption. Yeah. All them wheeling and dealing big shots was in confusion. Whoa. They threatened to kill, but they keep on still. Suddenly stop. They pass a bill. My friend, they bought it. Money ain't no problem.
Psalm 27, The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked
My apology, I forgot to mention, of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue with these and other issues of a national nature. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Bye-bye.